Well, hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Willis Wit and Wisdom. My name is Eric Willis,
And I'm Bob Willis.
and we are happy to be with you today, answering questions and hopefully providing a few nuggets of wisdom for you along the way as you engage life, because life is full of loss and um, worries and anxieties and all that stuff, conflict. So we're here to help answer some questions along the way.
Yeah.
Dad and I have both been trained. We've received training in different areas and different venues. And early on in my training, Dad, I was trained in uh, psychology and counseling and working with addicts. And so
Mm,
one of the things I learned in working with addicts is that there's a primary addiction and a secondary that uh, that counselors need to work through with folks.
right.
And in your work, there's something very similar that you've run across. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. Yeah. Because there are secondary losses. We actually grieve change. It doesn't have to be a death. We can grieve a change in our life, and that can lead to other changes. Well, especially after a death, after a loss in life, there are what we refer to as secondary changes. And I envision that as throwing a rock into a pond of water. And right where the rock goes in, it almost makes a hole in the water. Then all these little ripples come out. It's kind of like having a loss in your life. Where the loss took place, that's where the rock enters. And all these little secondary changes are reminders of the loss. And they can be painful. And some of the examples of that would be when a person dies, we lose so much more than a person. You can lose security at that very moment. It could be the physical security of having that person with you that was always protective, but it also can be an emotional security that you have someone who will help balance your life. And, you know, that is something else, another loss when you lose that person who gives you balance, the one that you can bounce ideas off of, the one you can lean on for support. If that partner is gone, then that is a secondary loss. We're aware of the loss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I had lunch with a friend recently, and he had lost his wife a couple of years ago. And even as the years go by, the grief doesn't leave. Um,
Right.
so
Right.
he was grieving not the primary loss of his wife, but he was grieving in the course of our conversation this notion and concept of companionship and having
Hmm.
one. And he was grappling with the loneliness and things. And so it's a
Right.
real thing. What are some helps out there to help people deal with some of the secondary losses that they
Yeah.
experience?
One of the valuable things is finding someone who will hear your words, not just listen to you, but hear you. I learned from a 17-year-old young man who taught me the difference between listening and hearing. We listen with our ears, and sometimes it comes in one ear and goes out the other, but we listen. But you hear with your heart, and you cannot spell the word heart until you spell the word hear first and put a T on the end of it. So we need someone who will hear us on that level so we can express to them, some of our feelings. And I got a call late one night from a friend whose husband had died, and she was a nurse in the hospital, and she called and she started off and she says, Bob, I have a severe case. And I thought she picked up something in the hospital. She
Mhm.
said, I have a severe case of the I don't want us and I don't give us. She said, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to answer the phone. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to leave my house. And she said, my reason for living died.
Mm.
And when more we talk, we realize that she lost her motivation. And that's a secondary loss too. It's almost like we can't get those desires to go. And sometimes if you were a caregiver for someone who died, you realize you lost your purpose. Your purpose was to provide care for them, and all of a sudden you're unemployed. You lost your job. It wasn't that you did a bad job, you did an excellent job, but that job ended. You can no longer provide care for them. So we get a sense of who am I now? And that involves self-worth and value and so many things of what we find the foundation part then.
Yeah, and having someone to bounce your thoughts and feelings off of is so critical. Uh,
Hmm.
and finding that person who will hear you, not just listen to you, uh,
Right.
and
Yeah.
is so valuable.
Right. In fact, there's a term I like to use, Eric. It's that we need a cheerleader in life. I think everyone needs a cheerleader. That is someone who will encourage you and hear you, and they'll be with you. They'll say, "You, I know you can do this." That's that real important role in life, is someone who will be a cheerleader. We all need cheerleaders. Well, if that cheerleader dies, we're grasping, because we need someone to encourage us and lift us up. Okay, so we need to find that cheerleader, someone who will encourage us, and that may be through a grief group. It may be some friend that you've known for years that will spend time talking on the heart level. It may be a pastor, maybe a counselor, but someone who will hear you and not get in the game with you, but encourage you in this game of what we call life. It's a tough game.
Yeah, it is. It's painful at times.
Mm-hmm.
And so the challenge would be, one of the concepts that I like to share. There's in the book of Ecclesiastes, it's called wisdom literature, and
Mm-hmm.
there's some wisdom in there. It says, all by yourself, it's dangerous. One
Right.
other, you could face some of the worst things that happen in life. But with three, that's like a three-stranded cord that cannot be broken.
Right.
And so, who's holding your rope? Who is in life with you, that is doing life with you enough where they know when to talk and when to be silent.
Right. That's a skill.
Yeah, and they know what to say and how to say it. And they even mess up every once in a while, say some stupid things, but they still love you. It comes out of not out of spite or a desire to hurt, but it comes out of their desire to help. And sometimes they say things that aren't very helpful.
Right.
And so,
And
who are the people in your life
yeah,
that have you?
because there are some people that we feel like they love us unconditionally. We could not do anything to make them go away. That's an important person in our life, that one who loves us unconditional. But if that person dies, we have a tremendous need to be loved unconditionally. Personally, I feel like God is the only one who can love us unconditionally, knows all about us and loves us anyway. But so we need to incorporate God into our lives to be one of those strands to help hold us together, to be that strength that we need. And I agree with you, Eric. When there's three involved, that can be a strand that cannot be broken, according to the scriptures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so that would be a challenge I'd throw out to people, is to just take a minute today to pull back and to really assess who are my three,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Right.
who are my go-tos, who are my biggest cheerleaders, who
Right.
can hear me when I need to talk, and whose shoulder is there for me to lean on. And what you'll find is that you're not alone, that
Mm-hmm.
there are people who love you and care about you and want to be alongside you. Not in the perfect way, so give them grace and allow them a little bit of space,
Yes.
but just know that you're not alone in this.
Right. That's the important part, I think, is to build that foundation, especially as a griever, to build that foundation that can help you build upon, because you still have life ahead of you. And so we need to build on that so we can, believe it or not, grievers can still enjoy life. Still can. There's still a life, or you would not be here. God still has a heartbeat for you. That's the reason that you're still here, okay? To enjoy that life, but seek that joy in Him first, and in others. And we have to love ourselves that much to get a foundation of people who'll be a strength for us.
Good word today, Dad. It's a reminder that, the primary loss of the person or the thing that we have lost actually begins a ripple effect of secondary losses in our life that we be aware of. And as we engage and experience those secondary losses, having people around us who know us and love us is critical. So any last words, parting words for today, Dad?
Yeah, always a reminder that people can reach out to us, to be able to email us either questions or things that cross their mind. If you want to expand a little bit more on what we've talked about today, you can reach me at rwillis14@cox.net. You're welcome to reach out, or you can follow me on Facebook. Each morning I put a little blog about grief and loss and some life skills on Facebook. So you can follow me as Bob Willis on Facebook. How do they follow you, Eric?
Yep, you can find me at reclaimleadership.org, and I have an email there, a contact there, and even a telephone link that you could sign up to get a free telephone call with me if you'd like one of those. So
this one's free, right?
yeah, that's free.
Good,
Good for you.
good.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for being with us. God bless you, and pull back a little bit. Find out, do a little assessment. Who are the people that are around you that can help you work through and just be with you as you experience these secondary losses of life?
That's right. Form your team. Form your team.
All right. Thanks, Dad, and we'll see
All
you.
right. All right. Thanks, folks.